Hi, I'm Bridget and welcome back. We are at day 7 of our 30 days of 10 minutes of yoga. So today we're going to be moving through something a little bit slower just to release any tension that we might be holding. So we're going to get started in a wide-legged child's pose. So coming onto the hands and knees, we're going to bring the big toes together, the knees as wide as our yoga mat, and then sink the hips down towards the heels. Walk the arms out long in front of you. Letting the forehead rest on your mat. And just taking a moment to connect with the breath here. Breathing slowly. Checking in with how you feel in your child's pose. Checking in with the mind, just noticing. And then letting it go. Allowing yourself to become really present in this moment. Letting go of anything that came before this practice or anything that you've got coming after. Just enjoying these 10 minutes that you've taken for yourself. And then when you're ready, we'll make our way back onto the hands and the knees, and you can walk the knees back underneath the hip points. We're going to make our way to our Gomukhasana. So we're going to walk the right knee into the center of our mat, pick the left knee up and then cross it behind the right. So bringing that left knee down onto your mat as well. We're going to take the toes a little bit wider and then walk the hands back. We find our Gomukhasana. So we've got the right knee stacked above the left knee and we've got the feet out to the side. So you've got a couple of different variations that you might like to take here. You can either just stay up in seated, resting the hands by your side. If you'd like a little bit more opening through the chest, then you might like to bring the arms behind you and just clasp opposite elbows, squeezing the shoulder blades back. Or you might like to find a forward fold here in your Gomukhasana. So just rounding forward through the spine, relaxing through the head and the neck. Whatever feels best for you here today. Breathing into the hips. Maybe closing down the eyes as we come back to the breath. And then when you're ready, we'll make our way back into our tabletop, back onto all fours. Unravel the legs. You might like to stretch them back behind you before we take it to the other side. So we'll walk our left knee into the center this time. We're going to pick the right knee up and cross it over the left. Bring the toes a little bit wider so that you can walk the hands back and find your Gomukhasana on this side. So you might need to adjust a little bit here until it feels comfortable in your body. And then again, you've got those variations. So you can stay here in seated. You might like to clasp opposite elbows behind you or come into that forward fold, rounding through the spine, relaxing through the head and the neck. Whatever variation works for you today. And again, just closing down the eyes, come back to the breath, breathing deeply. And we'll take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, we'll come back through tabletop. Unravel the legs. You might like to stretch them out behind you. And then we're going to make our way to our Baddha Konasana. So coming back to seated, I'm going to come this way on my mat. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees fall to either side, and then sitting up nice and tall for just a moment here, feeling this one out. And then when you're ready, we're going to round forward. So just walking the hands forward again, round through the spine, let the head and the neck get heavy here. Breathing into the hips. You might like to close down the eyes again here. And then really nice and slowly, we're going to roll back up through the spine. So starting at the tailbone, walking the hands back in, we'll let the head and the neck come up last. When you get there, we're going to send both legs out to either side. And again, sitting up nice and tall here. So if you feel like you're starting to round back a little bit, you might like to bring a pillow or a block underneath to sit down onto. It will just give you a little bit more space so that you can get nice and tall through the spine. We're going to stay nice and active through the feet, so drawing the toes back towards you and then almost drawing the kneecaps back towards you as well. So sitting up nice and tall, and then on an exhale, we'll start to round forward. So walking the hands forward, just bit by bit, rounding through the spine, relaxing through the shoulders. We find the breath here. Staying nice and active through those toes. You might start to notice that the feet kind of want to draw down towards the floor. We're going to keep them drawing up. We'll take one more nice deep breath here. And then slowly make our way back up. Walking the hands back in, let the head and the neck come up last. Before we move from here, we'll take a side body stretch. So just planting the right palm wherever feels most comfortable. You might even like to reach over towards the left side, but we'll just try it planting that palm over to the right. On an inhale, we're going to reach up and over with the left hand. Breathing into the left side body, seeing if you can keep both hip points pressing down into your mat. Breathing deeply here, maybe looking up. And then we'll take it to the other side. So planting the left palm, we'll take it to the left side first, and then inhale, reaching up and over with the right hand. If this feels okay here, then you can reach over to the right side with that left hand as well, but it's going to make that stretch quite a bit deeper. So whatever works for you here. Maybe looking up. And then slowly coming back up and to center. We're going to bring the hands underneath the knees as we draw them back in towards us. And we're going to close our practice today in seated. So just crossing the heels or just finding a seated position that feels most comfortable to you. And taking a moment of stillness, closing down the eyes, reconnecting with the breath. Again, seeing if you can become really present in this moment. Maybe counting the breaths as they pass. And you can keep the eyes closed here. We'll just gently blink them open as we take our last breath together here. So inhaling the hands up and overhead. Bringing the palms together and then exhaling them down to heart space, bowing through the head.
The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.